I died in an explosion at SpaceX. But the part that still haunts me to this day is not the moment my body caught fire. It was the moment Jesus looked at me in silence and asked, "Why has humanity chosen to leave Earth instead of returning to their souls?" Have you ever imagined that death is not the end, but a doorway into a classified gathering where the most powerful people on the planet are making plans for humanity, the same way companies plan how to sell a product? I once believed I was serving a higher mission, helping humanity reach Mars, rewriting history itself. But when I saw the faces in that room, I realized I was not building the future. I was helping them run away from judgment. My name is Logan Hayes. I am 29 years old, a propulsion systems engineer at SpaceX. I used to believe in science the way some people believe in faith. I used to think Elon Musk could set humanity free from all limitations. I believed what we were doing at Starbase was for peace, for the future, for humankind. Every morning I woke up at 5, brewed strong coffee, kissed my wife Madeline on the forehead while she was still sleeping, and drove 40 minutes to the engine test site. I knew every thrust curve, every data point, every thermal threshold of the combustion chamber. I believed in numbers. I believed in flight. I believed in the path to the stars. But I forgot the most important truth. The soul does not fly on fuel. The explosion happened on the morning of May 14, 2024. We were running a standard pressure test on the chamber. Everything was normal. Every reading was within limits, until none of it mattered anymore. In an instant, I heard no more machines, saw no more light, felt no more body. Only one voice echoed through the void. "Logan, I have been waiting for you." I know what you are thinking. What happens after death? Did I see Jesus? And is there a secret council, or was that just a brain-damaged man's delusion? But I am not asking you to believe me. I am not sharing this to convince anyone. I am telling you because I can no longer keep silent. Because what Jesus showed me did not just change me. It is changing the future of humanity, and you need to hear it before it is too late. There were mornings I stood on the launch pad staring into the piercing blue Texas sky, and I truly believed I was doing the right thing. I did not build homes. I did not write books. I did not save lives. I burned fuel and tested blocks of metal that weighed tons. But I believed I was helping humanity open a new doorway. I believed I was bringing us closer to the stars. That was the only kind of faith I had left after losing the sacred things I once held dear as a child. I was raised in a Christian home, but left the church when I was 17 after my mother died suddenly. I was not rebellious. I was just quiet. I stayed silent during prayers, silent when people spoke of heaven, silent even when my father cried alone in the living room. I searched for answers in math and physics, in fluid dynamics and rocket propulsion. Things that did not change, did not betray, did not twist like human emotions. I chose to study propulsion systems at MIT. I graduated with honors and landed a dream position at SpaceX. I met Madeline when she was a medical coordinator on an emergency project at the Starbase facility. She was gentle, thoughtful, and full of compassion. And I was like a machine learning to love, dry, precise, and uncomfortable with anything that could not be explained. But she never walked away from me. When I asked her to marry me, she simply said, "I do not need you to believe in God. I just need you to remember that you have a soul too." I laughed at the time. I thought it was sweet. I did not understand what she meant. Not until now. We bought our first home on the outskirts of Brownsville. A small porch, a swing, and a young maple tree that I planted with my own hands. Every morning before work, I would look at that tree. I looked at it like a promise that life could grow out of chaos. I started dreaming about our first child, a little one carrying the Hayes name, growing up in a world where his father once helped humanity step onto another planet. Madeline chose the first name, Eli. I chose the middle name, Isaac. But I never told her why I picked Isaac. Deep down, I felt like I was offering that child to a power I could not control. Maybe it was Elon, Maybe it was technology. Maybe it was what I called progress. But it was not God. I lived in a quiet loop between equations and rocket schematics. The higher I rose in my career, the emptier I felt. But I never stopped, because stopping meant facing myself. I remember one night I woke up in the middle of a dream, cold sweat soaking my back, with the sensation that I was falling endlessly through a weightless void. I did not tell anyone. I just stood in the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and stared into the mirror. And for the first time in years, I asked myself, if I died right now, would anyone truly know who I was? The morning of the explosion, Madeline had fallen asleep on the couch from nausea. I knew she was pregnant. I had not said a word yet. I had planned to give her a gift that evening, along with a letter that said, "I used to chase the stars, but now I just want to come home to Earth." That letter was never written, and the gift is still sitting in the trunk of my car to this day. But what I did not know was that the universe had a gift waiting for me, a gift that would cost me my life. And when I walked into that test chamber that day, I had no idea I was about to become a witness to a secret that is now reshaping the destiny of mankind. I walked into the test chamber like I did every day. There were no signs, no thunder in the distance, no strange intuition, just the cold overhead lights reflecting off the concrete floor and the familiar sound of pressure valves releasing steam in rhythmic intervals. I checked the data panel one last time. Everything was stable, pressure levels were right, temperatures were within safe limits, no anomalies. But in that exact moment, stability became an illusion. The first sound I heard was not the explosion. It was a deep vibration that ripped through the steel framework and into my bones. Less than a second later, everything erupted in a blazing seismic burst. The shockwave slammed me backward. There was no time for pain, no time for thought, only a blinding white flash that burned the entire physical world out of existence. I have no idea what my body hit. I could no longer feel weight, no longer see arms or legs, just something light, almost dreamlike, yet still real. And then I saw myself. My body was lying amid twisted, scorched metal. Blood splattered across the cement. My coworkers were running toward me. They were screaming. They were panicked. But their voices sounded like they were underwater, distant and muffled, as if echoing from a place far beyond reach. I tried to shout that I was still here, that I was okay, that I was conscious, but no sound came out. No one responded, because I was no longer inside that body. Something invisible was pulling me upward. I did not resist. I was not afraid. For the first time in my life, I felt absolute peace. No stress, no pain, no pressure, as if every weight I had carried for years had finally been lifted. Then I was drawn into a field of light. But it was not the kind of sterile white light you see in an operating room or under fluorescent bulbs. This light had weight. It had awareness. It was alive. And it knew exactly who I was. From deep within that light, a voice spoke, not to my ears, but to my soul. "Logan, I have been waiting for you." I turned, and I saw him. There was no need for introduction, no name, no confirmation, because every part of my being instantly recognized it was Jesus. He did not look like the paintings or the images in the church. There was no flowing white robe, no glowing golden halo. He was the light that spoke, compassion made visible. He was everything I had never dared to believe, but had always secretly longed for. I could not stand. I dropped to my knees, not out of fear, but because the love in that place made it impossible to remain upright. He looked at me with eyes as deep as the universe, without judgment, without anger, only complete and utter understanding. "You think you are helping humanity move forward, do you not?" I nodded, unable to speak as the words caught in my throat. "But do you know, they are not running toward the stars. They are running away from me." I looked at him, confused, a wave of resistance rising inside me. I wanted to object, to say I believed in science, in purpose, in progress, that we were not running from anything, we were reaching for the future. Jesus did not argue. He simply placed his hand on my shoulder. It was so warm, it brought me to tears. You do not know the truth, but I will show you. In that instant, the space around us vanished, replaced by a depth of darkness so vast it seemed endless. And before I could ask a single question, I already knew. I was about to see something no one had ever taught me how to prepare for. And what I was about to witness was not an ending. It was the beginning of a truth powerful enough to awaken all of humanity. Space dissolved like a curtain yanked aside by a silent wind. I did not fall or fly. I seemed to glide through layers of reality stripped away from the material world. When the light of Jesus receded, I found myself inside an immense room with no walls and no ceiling, only a void surrounded by a substance as dark as volcanic rock, a surface that both absorbed light and mirrored my thoughts. In the center stood a long oval table made of glossy black material, cold and indifferent, with no carvings and no trace of human touch, only a precision that felt beyond humanity. Shapes sat around the table. At first, they looked like people, until I looked closer. Some faces were familiar from the news and social media. Men and women the world calls geniuses, leaders, visionaries. Yet beside them were beings that could never be called human, bodies that imitated ours, but with eyes completely black, no whites, no emotion. One of them turned toward me, and in that instant, my entire being felt frozen. Jesus stood beside me, and the light that radiated from him kept those creatures from staring for long. They turned away and continued a meeting I was not allowed to interrupt. A silver-haired man in a gray suit tapped the table and spoke in an even voice as if presenting a business plan. Phase 1 is complete. The relocation program is accelerating. The population has been distracted long enough. Biotech and behavioral programming remain on schedule. Someone asked, "And collective faith, religion?" The first man smiled, though the smile never reached his eyes. It has been replaced by devotion to logic and convenience. They trust only what they can hold. The soul is a forgotten notion. I turned to Jesus, gripping the edge of his light as though letting go would plunge me into an endless pit of despair. What is this? Is this real? What am I seeing? He did not answer with words, but with knowing that flooded my awareness. This is not a dream. This is a truth kept from human eyes for far too long. And those seated here did not begin their plan this year. They have been working on it for centuries. A woman cloaked in deep black spoke next. Her voice slipped through the air without echo, yet sent a chill up my spine. Mars is the next phase, she said. Not because we must live there, but because it holds no memory, no roots, no history, only a pristine beginning. I understood her at once. They did not merely want to leave Earth, they wanted to escape heaven's scrutiny. They were not migrating, they were breaking out. Jesus whispered beside me, "Now you see. They are not fleeing environmental danger, they are fleeing the light. And the greatest threat is not their deception. It is that the world has chosen to believe them, to follow them, to place its hope in technology, in artificial intelligence, in salvation forged from cold metal and rigid code." I looked down at my feet, where the light from Jesus still kept me from being swallowed by the room's darkness, and I realized I was not just standing at the center of a conspiracy. I had been part of it. I had designed the engines that would carry them to Mars. I had laughed at talk of souls, redemption, and the end of days. I had trusted Elon Musk the way others trust a savior. And now I saw that my faith had been misplaced. A single tap on the table signaled the end of the meeting. Every figure faded into the void, as if they had never existed. Jesus gazed at me without reproach. "You have seen. I showed you this not to frighten you, but to call you home. Truth will not save you, but it will wake you. Awakening is the first step toward return." Light surged once more. The room vanished. I was alone with Jesus in boundless space. He touched my chest where my heart once beat for ideals. And in that blinding moment, I felt, for the first time, not a biological pulse, but the resonance of true life. I did not yet know where I would go or how I would return, but from that instant, I was no longer the same man. And if you think this story ends with one soul rescued, stay with me, because in the next part, you will face the same choice I did. Keep trusting what is easy to grasp, or turn back to what this world has tried to make you forget. I came back with a gasp that felt like my soul had plunged from an invisible height into my body. There was no blinding light, no angels singing, only the steady hum of machines and the thin blip of an EKG tracing a fragile thread of life. The smell of antiseptic cut sharp and cold and real. My eyelids weighed a ton, my throat was sand, every muscle ached as though it had been peeled away and sewn back on. Madeline sat beside me, her head resting on my hand. She was not crying or speaking, just holding my fingers so tightly her knuckles had turned white. I had no sense of how long I had been gone, no idea how many nights had passed, only that I was home. I tried to whisper her name, and though only a rasp came out, it was enough. She lifted her face, eyes swollen and red, and touched my cheek, as if testing whether I might vanish. "You are back," she breathed, softer than a sigh, yet louder as a bell inside my chest. I could not pour out everything I had seen, but I knew I could never live the old way again. The doctors arrived, startled beyond words. They said my heart had stopped for 6 minutes, that no one expected me to live, that survival was nearly impossible. But I knew I had been returned for something that was not about me. In the days that followed, I spoke less and saw more. The young maple in our yard became sacred. Sunlight spilling through the window turned priceless. Madeline's hand resting on her belly, sheltering the child I had never met, became the holiest sight I had ever witnessed. I began to pray again, not with words, but with gratitude. I asked for nothing. I simply listened. For the first time, I believed my soul was speaking, not through logic, but through life itself. I told Madeline the story, every detail. She never interrupted or doubted, only listened, nodding now and then as if she had known all along. When I finished, she said, "I prayed for you to come back, not just in your body, but in your heart. And you did." I declined to return to SpaceX. I did not hate Elon. I did not blame science. I simply knew I could not remain a tool for a journey without a soul. I began to write about what I had witnessed, the truth unveiled in the whisper of Jesus. I no longer cared who believed it. Truth does not need protection. It only needs to be spoken. Sometimes I walk. Sometimes I stop before a small wooden cross by the road, close my eyes, and give thanks. I thank God that I died so I could learn to live. I do not know what lies ahead or whether the world will listen, but I know that inside every person, beneath all the layers of reason, a very small, very real, very gentle voice waits to be answered. And if you have ever felt hollow in a world overflowing with convenience, if you have sensed that something is wrong but cannot name it, then perhaps, like me, you are standing at the threshold of awakening. I am sitting before you in a quiet room with a single camera, a gentle amber light, and an ordinary wooden chair. Yet I know that what I am about to say is not simply a story. It is a reminder, a ringing bell, the truth I was sent back to carry for you, for my child, for this world. You do not have to believe me. I do not need that. I only ask that you pause for a moment, truly pause. Have you ever wondered why we never stop running? We chase careers, success, technology, reputation, all the things that promise freedom yet leave us exhausted. Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen empty eyes staring back? That used to be me. It might be you right now. I do not share this to frighten anyone. I speak for no institution. I do not urge you to reject science or condemn any person. I simply offer what I was shown, a truth so stark it hurts. We are drifting away from ourselves. We throw our souls into darkness while pursuing manufactured light. We aim for Mars not because it is hope, but because we fear true light. I stood in the room where the powerful no longer seek truth, but plan their escape from it. They do not want you to look up. They want you to look down, at your screen, at data, at notifications, at whatever keeps you from hearing the voice inside you that has been silent far too long. Jesus never demanded anything of me. He only showed. Once I saw it, I could not turn back. I didn't realize that living is not breathing or achieving, but knowing you belong to something greater than yourself. That truth needs no noise, no proof. It asks only for a moment when you stop, grow still, and let your soul speak. I once believed I was part of the future. Now I understand I must return to the source, not to land or culture, but to the root of the soul. We are born with that light. No one installs it. The world simply teaches us to forget. I named my son Eli, which means God is strength. Not to make him devout by force, but to remind myself each time I call his name that something stands stronger than any code, engine, or plan. It is honesty with the deepest truth inside. And you, if you are still here, if you have followed every word to this point, perhaps you too are being stirred awake. I cannot walk your path, but I can repeat what Jesus told me when every light went out and every layer of logic cracked and I had nothing left to hold. I have waited for you. My story did not end when I returned to life. It has only begun. Just last night in my sleep, I saw that room again, the black table, the silent figures. This time, there was an empty chair, and they knew I had seen them. Are you certain you are not the one being invited to sit in that chair?